Hey guys and girls, welcome back to another exciting episode of All About You. In today's segment, I will be going over my 2019 Nationals experience. As you guys already know, I was DQ'd after round 5. My final score was 2 wins and 3 draws, so that was a lot of draws. I already kind of spoke about it in some live chats, and I already touched up on it on the last video that you guys probably more than likely saw. So before I start this video, I want to start by talking about my thoughts on what Bandai just did. Recently, they pretty much decided to give an errata to all the wish cards or desire cards that were able to bring out guys for free. Under most circumstances, cards like World Peace, Purunga, the green, I believe it's called like Salvation. It's like the green version of World Peace. Those desire cards and leader card were able to bring out characters that had an equal amount of energy. So as long as you had, let's say 4 energy, you were able to bring out a 4 drop from your drop area into play. And of course, if you had any more energy, you can keep just upping the ante. So a minimum of 4 for the most part, and then a maximum of whatever. They ended up changing it to, unfortunately, 3 or less. So a lot of threats cannot be brought out. I know people were upset. They ended up saying like, individuals were like, it should have been at least 4 because most of those cards cost 4. So it's like, why not make it 4 or less? But realize that wouldn't have changed much. You would be able to bring out Shenron and at all cost Vegeta's, a lot of kill cards that the deck was already running in its main board. So Bandai, you did a good job. It was a good call. I feel like you didn't quite touch the cards that needed to be touched though. You kind of like started at the very tip of the iceberg, but you didn't work your way down to, level the playing field. Right now, a lot of decks that are already doing very well, like Milnemba, Broly, and other decks that just have very powerful cards, they did not get touched, which I am a little upset about that because you kind of just picked on one deck that didn't win the event. So it's like the deck that won the event actually didn't utilize cards like World Peace to bring out guys from the drop area. It was able to just go into the 7 drop Gogeta at 5 energy for, once they had 5 energy. So it just sucks because nothing was really done about the problematic cards in the game. They just kind of like touched up on what people complained about. And as we all know, the community isn't quite the greatest when it comes down to making decisions. Obviously, there are individuals that would have made a good choice, but, as a whole, people complain about cards that they are not able to deal with or cards that they don't want to go up against because they might have a deck that they want to play and they just don't want to deal with the decks that will hurt their own deck. And we all have seen this in every card game. So, when it comes down to designing a list or any type of restriction or ban list, it's always good to either have the professionals, the better players of the game, help aid, or just go by sheer results. Results will always give you a better accurate understanding of the game. And it's the most unbiased because no one, even us like myself, I won't be able to say, hey, you guys should touch this card, even if that card is not doing that well in the game, as in that it's not being dominant in the top tables, or top cut. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to touch up on that before we start the video because, you guys, if you more than likely you already know this information, I'm just giving you guys my perspective on it. So without further ado, let's begin. All right, guys, so we're going to start off with the leader, and then I'm going to go by colors. We'll start off with black, then blue, and then any other colors remaining in the deck. I will start off with my main board, and then we will go on to the side deck. Now, I don't have all the cards with me because I was borrowing some cards, so just quick shout outs. Thank you, Juan, from Team FOE. I am no longer on that team anymore, but he's still a brother to me. Thank you, Eon Hill, one of my best friends. He lent me a good amount of cards as well. And then to one of my Patreons, thank you, and you know who you are. So if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to play this deck, and I greatly appreciate all the help that was provided. So, starting off with our Dragon Ball leader, we all know what it does. Active main, you just put them sideways, search your deck for up to 2 Dragon Balls or your life area, and add them to your hand. Then, of course, when you use your Wish, once you have all 7 Dragon Balls, you can pick up a desired card from your drop area and add it to your hand. Now we go into this bad boy. He is phenomenal. He has 3 effects. He has the standard draw 1 card. He has the activated desire for free, and then his ultimate, which allows you to give any battle card 10k and triple attack, which is very good for the duration of the turn. Now, moving on to our Dragon Balls. So we have, in total, 6 regular Dragon Balls. It's mainly used to just draw, and it's basically the best kind of card you want to use because there isn't any requirement other than you just filtering through your deck. We have our Super Dragon Ball, which is one of my favorite cards. As you guys may know, I'm one of the first innovators for this card, at least as far as using it in big events. And it's your draw 4, pitch 2. So it's a very good card because it allows you to see more of your deck and very effective. We have our 4 World Peace. Very good card, and it's very necessary. As you guys may know, this card, again, like I said previously in the beginning of the video, it got the errata, so upcoming major events, you will only be able to get a 3 drop or less from your drop area, which isn't as effective. I mainboarded 2, Dende new to the job. He was very good. I'm gonna be honest, I never played against a mirror match, but if I did, I would have had the advantage. He's a standard draw 1 card for most of the times when I was using him, and 5k piece. That's the truth. Now, his ability would have allowed me to hurt my opponents in the mirror match by popping their energy if they would use cards like Objection or any kind of ramp card, but unfortunately that did not happen. Then we have newfound Purunga, Power Purunga. He is very good. One of the best cards of this deck, in my opinion. He has 3 effects. All you have to do is put him in rest mode, and you can either draw 2 cards, you can give one of your battle cards plus 10k for the duration of your turn and your opponent's turn, and then lastly, you're able to reset the board. That is actually one of the best effects in the game because it doesn't matter how wide your opponent goes. You basically could get rid of every battle card in your opponent's side of the field except for 1, and then you have to get rid of every battle card on your side of the field except for 1, which more than likely you'll just keep him or one of your other key winning cards. Then we have our 2 Shenron Figure of Majesty, a nice even 2 split. Very effective in my opinion because this one has a similar effect except you don't have to rest them. You draw a card regardless, but you cannot see the card that you draw until you choose one of the abilities, which is either you can recover up to 2 of your energies, you're able to play a 2 drop or less from your drop area into play, and then give 5k plus critical to one of your battle cards. Now we have our standard 4 super combos. Temporal Rescue Trunks, he's very good, and pretty much the only super combo you will see for being used for this type of deck. We have our 2 Zeno'ed buttons. Thank you, Eon. This is a great card. It's a counter attack. It just allows you to restand all your blue energy when your opponent attacks you. We have our 4 Whis Coercions, just a standard negate. It costs practically 0 energy because it restands an energy after its usage. So it's very good because free is great. Why not have free? 4 Sensu Beans. Sensu Bean is amazing because it allows you to recover energy. It allows you to recover up to 1 additional energy and gives 5k onto a battle card or your leader card. Now, the best part about it is that it's for the duration of the turn. So utilizing this type of deck, you can actually give 5k to any of your battle cards while you're going for your ulti with this leader. And now it's even stronger for every attack, meaning that your opponent has to now have a greater commitment. We run 4 Objections. Objection is one of the key aspects of this deck. Without it, the deck wouldn't run as smoothly. We have 3 Gokus. I know you only see 2, but there are actually 3. This Goku is one of the best Gokus in the game. It just pretty much allows you to counter a lot of your opponent's play. So it's a counter play, counter attack. When it comes into play, you just simply bounce any battle card, ignoring barrier, and it goes right back to their hand. Now, autos will activate. So know that much because some players were confused and it's not a good thing. You got to make sure that you know what your cards do. And then additionally, what's good about this guy is that he is a piece for Shenron Gogeta. And that's something that you want to use in this type of deck since it's a ramp / it can go into Gogeta. the 7-drop or the 5-drop. We have At All Costs Vegeta, another useful piece, part of the fusion, and At All Costs is a game-winning card. He has the capability of winning multiple games and has just a very powerful effect. I have went over his ability several times. You can look at it in other videos on the channel. But one of your aces of the deck. Now we have our Whis, the Resting Attendant. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, he is not going to be really used as much because of the fact that we have those erratas that I spoke about. But he's still a good card if you want to try to ramp ahead and you have bigger plays. When he comes into play, you just take the top card of your deck to your energy area. I have 2 of our Ultimate Fusion Gogeta, one of my favorite well-designed cards. He has multiple abilities, and you can also pitch a Vegeta or Goku in order to bring him out for 4 energy. When he comes into play, you draw 2 cards, and then you select up to 2 battle cards from your opponent's side of the board and bottom deck them, which is amazing. Then, of course, we have one of the best cards of the game in general, which is our Gogeta Hero Revive. Now, this baddie is probably one of the most complained about cards, but right now, because of the erratas, this deck isn't going to be seen as much play, unfortunately, because other decks are really strong right now. So you have to keep that in mind. Mill will have a field day with this type of deck without the ramp additions. But anyways, you guys should already know he has Barrier, Deflect, Triple Strike, and when he comes into play, as long as you have 10 cards in your drop area, sparking 10, your opponent, you crit one of your lives, and then your opponent has to shuffle the entire hand back to their deck and draw 3 cards. Note, you always got to pay attention to your opponent's drop area. I have seen players in the past, not currently, but in the past, they will shuffle their hand back into their deck, and their opponent didn't even have the requirement, which you got to be very, very careful on. And then now we have our Kaioken, Son Goku. This guy is very, 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 very good, but unfortunately, because of the fact that you cannot use World Peace to grab him, he's not going to be effective. Under normal circumstances, once you have 7 energy, you would just World Peace him, use Kaioken's abilities as many times as you can, strip your opponent's hand. He would have dual attack and triple strike, which is unfair, and his power would raise up by 25k each and every time you use the ability. And it's just insane. And then last but not least, Victory Strike, which Victory Strike is basically the most expensive card in the game, and it wins. Once you attack, if you hit your opponent, it doesn't matter what point of life they are in, you win the game, which is insane. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the main board. Now we're going to go into the sideboard. Starting off, we have 3 West Kai Keeping Watch. This is mainly used just to bounce back the 8 deck, quote unquote. It's just one 8 battle card that is very strong in the game. And primarily, you're just utilizing it to also stop your opponent from being overly aggressive on you, especially when they're playing like Khalifas from the U6 deck or any variants of the U6 deck. I sideboarded 2 Dragon Radars. If I didn't have the Dendays, the Dragon Radars would have been main board. It's just essentially a way to keep reusing Desire cards and keep reusing Dragon Balls for early draw power. I have 1 and 2. Supreme Kai of Time. She is very good for aggressive matchups, especially decks that want to pressure you with 2 drops or less. She pretty much stops them dead on their tracks, which is very, very good because you need ways to deal with aggro in this format, especially now more than ever. So because of this, cards like this are very useful. And I paired her up with Power Burst, which is essentially a free sparking negate, a cost of a life. I can negate 1 attack, and I can additionally pick up a 1-drop black card from my remove from game area or from my drop area. So warp or drop area, which is very good because it allows me to reuse cards like this and reuse cards like Dende. Then I had 1 Piccolo, King Piccolo Limitless Power. He was going to be good for the World Martial Arts deck, but unfortunately I did not run into any of those. And I had 2 of my Bardock Fully Unleashed, which is a very, very strong card, but pretty much it's mainly there for the Broly chain. And then last but not least, the rest of the other cards were Desperate Measures. I borrowed those from Juan. He was very kind to lend me them. So as you guys can see, this is the main board. I'll kind of just center it off here. This deck was very good for pretty much every matchup. I designed it in that fashion. Unfortunately, games could have been played a little faster, and I could have just been a little bit more sharp as far as keeping track of time. Next time, I have to make sure that I am facing the clock. I wasn't facing the clock in any of my games, which I feel did attribute to some of the draws that I didn't necessarily have to receive. And more so, my last game where I went into my third draw, because outside of that, I could have made top 16, was against my opponent, which you guys should already know the information on. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be doing more Dragon Ball content on here with a bunch of other type of topics. Fitness, relationship, you name it, it'll more than likely be on here. But it's based on you guys. So you guys got to let me know what you want to see, and I will be willing to provide it for you. Anyways, thank you again. Thanks for being supporters, because I know I've lost probably about 100 subscribers, maybe even more, since I've been posting other content other than Dragon Ball Super. So you guys are the real MVPs, and I will be continuing content. Don't worry, I'm still around. I just have to get a few things in order to become consistent again. So as always, this channel is all about you.